How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now on today's show we're going to be speaking about the news that broke yesterday, that all sport in Holland is going to be suspended until September the 1st. We're also going to be speaking about Barcelona because next season they're going to be selling the title rights to the new camp to help aid the coronavirus pandemic. And we're also going to be speaking about Newcastle and their takeover. Because it might not be as plain sailing as we all thought.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right. So the first place we're going to start is that news that broke yesterday that all sport in Holland has been suspended until September the 1st. An unprecedented move and a really, really big move. And maybe this might be what the rest of the country needs to nudge them towards conclusions of their seasons. Now, professional sport in Holland has been banned until September the 1st after its suspension was extended by 3 months due to the coronavirus pandemic. The Dutch FA have planned to resume the suspended football season for its top 2 divisions on June the 19th behind closed doors. But Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte has announced on Tuesday all major public events, including professional sport and music festivals, are prohibited until September the 1st to prevent the resurgence of the coronavirus infections. And they go on to say it's better to be cautious now than to have regrets later. I would love to say we could go a lot further, but that is very scary and dangerous. We see a little improvement in the data, but just imagine that we would relax some measures causing the virus to peak again. That's something we absolutely do not want. 3 of the top 4 clubs, Ajax, AZ Alkmaar and PSV Eindhoven, have called for the season to be cancelled. The number of coronavirus cases in the Netherlands rose in the past 24 hours by 729 to 34,134. Health authorities said on Tuesday, with the total deaths standing at 3,916. Restaurants and bars were ordered to remain closed for another 3 weeks until May the 19th. So pretty straightforward and pretty much straight to the point from the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. And they're not going to take no chances. And you've got to applaud them for this. He would rather deal with the situation and that there's no more outbreaks and no more deaths and, you know, no spikes or increases. And he wants to protect his public. He wants to protect his people, the Dutch people. And no football or sport at all in Holland until September the 1st. Now, what will that do? You know, outside of Holland. Now, I can't even think on top of my head whether there's any Dutch sides still within European football. I know Ajax were knocked out of the Europa League in the last rounds, but is there anyone in Holland still in European football? Because, you know, what kind of effect would that have if there's nobody there? It might make things a little bit easier, and maybe that's why they've made this decision. But it's a very, very bold decision. Very, very bold. And it just shows the severity of everything at the moment. And, you know, while some of us are all talking about, you know, getting football back underway behind closed doors in 3-4 weeks' times, and there's 800-900 people dying a day in this country alone. You know, the Netherlands have sat there and said, nah, the people are more important than sport. We're going to ban it September the 1st. And hopefully by then we can start afresh. And, you know, we can deal with this, you know, as we see fit at the time. So, yeah, very, very big statement. And it'd be interesting to see how this has a knock-on effect with our other leagues throughout Europe. But, yeah, the Netherlands have banned all sport until September the 1st. Next piece of news involves Barcelona. And they are looking to sell the Nou Camp title rights to help fight the pandemic. Barcelona will sell the title rights to the Nou Camp for 1 year in an effort to raise money for the fight against the coronavirus. The La Liga club have decided to break from tradition and carry a title sponsor for the first time in the 2021 season, with the entire fee raised to be used to fight the pandemic around the world. The money generated will be used for a COVID-19 driven project chosen by the sponsors and towards the club's foundation, with Spain the worst hit country in Europe at present. The vice president of Barcelona and of Barcelona's foundation has said, "We are very happy to be able to drive forward this initiative that offers something as emblematic as the name of our stadium, so that institutions, organisations, businesses may associate themselves with it and as such contribute to fight against the COVID-19, given that their investment will be used to finance research projects on the illness and projects that are working to eradicate or lessen its effects." So this is absolutely brilliant from Barcelona. And if I'm getting that right, the new camp won't be called the new camp. And they're going to be giving away the naming right for a season. So, it's going to be, like what Emirates Stadium is, for example. It's because of Emirates. Barcelona FC, if I had enough money, I could call it the DTFC Stadium. But I don't think I'm going to be able to buy that. But that's absolutely brilliant, to be honest with you. And no doubt there's going to be some serious offers put in place there to actually be called Barcelona Stadium, your name, your business, your company. And you've got to think about some of the biggest companies in the world that are going to want to attach their name to this, so that every time everyone does go to Barcelona next season, it will be known as the such and such stadium. So unbelievable. And all money will be going to the fight against COVID-19. So absolutely brilliant, and I commend Barcelona for what is an absolutely superb gesture, that's for sure. Last piece of news involves Newcastle. Now, of course, we've been speaking a lot over recent days about their takeover, and it might not seem as cut and dry as we thought, because obviously some people are going to moan. And the Amnesty International has written to the Premier League to raise their concerns over the £300 million purchase by a consortium of buyers, including Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. Amnesty is asking the Premier League Chief Executive Richard Masters to fully consider the human rights situation in Saudi Arabia as part of the Premier League owners and directors test. In the letter to Masters, Amnesty UK Director Kate Allen says there are serious questions for the Premier League to address concerning the deal. She went on to say that the coronavirus crisis has already thrown a spotlight on football, and it needs to treat players and staff fairly. And now there's a danger that the pandemic could obscure the need for a cool, measured and genuinely ethical decision over the Newcastle deal. All businesses need to be safeguarded against any possible links to human rights violations, and English football is no different. We are absolutely not saying we should end up running Newcastle United, but unless the Premier League pauses and looks seriously at the human rights situation in Saudi Arabia, it risks becoming a patsy, a willing dupe of those trying to sports wash their abysmal human rights records. Saudi Arabia has branched out into sport recently. The nation hosted Anthony Joshua's boxing heavyweight title fight against Andy Ruiz Jr. And they have plans in place for the F1 Grand Prix in 2023. All paperwork has been lodged with the league's governing body, who are carrying out their checks on PCP Capital Partners, the Saudi-backed consortium led by businesswoman Amanda Stavely. The fact that we have made significant deposit to current owner Mike Ashley already would suggest the group are confident of having their takeover ratified by the Premier League, ending Mike Ashley's 13-year tenure at St James's Park. So yeah, look, listen, I don't think this is going to be anything that stands in the way of the deal. I don't think that Newcastle fans have got too much to worry about. But obviously there are going to be questions with human rights. Now, I don't know too much about the human rights situation in Saudi Arabia, and I'm not going to be drawn into that kind of debate. I don't know nothing about it. So it's something that I'm going to, go and have a little read up on and see, what the fuss is all about. But the fact that the Amnesty International have got themselves involved suggests that there is more than meets the eye. But whether that will actually stand in the way of the Premier League ratifying, this takeover, I don't really know. And like they were saying there, with the coronavirus pandemic and everything going on at the moment, they may well, you know, want to get this done and dusted and bring them in. And maybe some of the checks might not be as thorough as they may well normally be. But I don't know. I honestly don't. I'm just, you know, reading out loud and reporting what the, you know, the papers are saying. And that's what they're saying. And we'll wait and see whether anything happens, you know, with that letter that's been put forward. But I don't think Newcastle fans have got too much to worry about. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. Now, I've not really touched on the Mesut Ozil situation because I've been over it so many times. I've done a live feed last night where I went into great detail about that. And I also done the podcast, the All Guns Blazing podcast with Robbie on AFTV. So if you want to get my thoughts on the Mesut Ozil situation and everything, then go and look at my live feed from last night or go and watch the podcast. So pretty straightforward. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. I'll see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.